Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down how to fight back against one of the most widespread environmental challenges we face, microplastics. I mean, that's the core of the problem, isn't it? We're tackling an invisible challenge that is, and I mean this literally, everywhere. These tiny plastic particles are in the air we breathe, the water we drink, everywhere. So, to start, let's really get a handle on the sheer scale of this invisible problem. You know, these particles are shed from an incredible range of sources. We're talking about everything from the synthetic fibers in our clothes to the normal wear and tear on our car tires. And because they're so tiny, they are just incredibly difficult to get out of the environment once they're there. But here's the good news. You're not powerless here. There are things you can do right now, so let's dive into your personal defense plan. We're going to look at this from two angles, right? The air around you and the water you consume. Let's kick things off with air. Okay, when it comes to cleaning up your air, think of it as a two-part strategy. First, you want to trap the particles that are already inside your home. A good air purifier with a HEPA filter is absolutely key for this. Second, you want to cut down on what you're putting out into the world in the first place. And that means making simple choices, like picking natural fabrics over synthetics to reduce fiber shedding, or driving less to cut down on that tire wear. And hey, planting trees helps too. They are fantastic natural air filters. Now let's switch gears to water, because this is where it gets really interesting. You've probably heard advice about boiling water to purify it, right? But the source material points out some really big confusion here, and even some potential danger. So this brings up a huge question. Does this super common purification method actually help us? Or could it, be making things worse? Well, it turns out the answer is all in how you do it. Okay, so here's the right way to do it. When you boil mineral-rich hard water, it forms that chalky stuff, limescale. And here's the magic trick. The microplastics actually get trapped inside those limescale crystals. So you let it cool down, let all those solids settle to the bottom, and then, and this is the crucial step, you filter them out. See? It's not just about boiling, it's about capturing and then removing. Now, if you want to level up from boiling, there are some seriously powerful home filtration systems out there. Reverse osmosis and ultrafiltration use these incredibly fine membranes to block pretty much everything. Then you've got activated carbon filters, like the ones in pitcher filters, which are great for bigger particles and making water taste better. And for the highest level of purity, there's distillation, which is basically boiling water and collecting the super clean steam. All right, let's zoom out from our homes and look at the big picture. The massive industrial-scale solutions being developed to clean our entire environment. This is where the science gets really cool. The ingenuity at play here is just fascinating. Scientists are exploring all kinds of methods. Ozonation uses a special gas to break plastics down, though you have to be careful with it. Biodegradation uses living things like bacteria to literally eat the plastics. And one of the most promising new ideas is magnetic removal, which uses these special magnetic particles to just attract and pull plastics right out of the water. So cool. But one of the most effective large-scale methods used right now is a kind of 1-2 punch. First, a step called coagulation uses chemicals to make all those tiny microplastics sticky. Then, flocculation gets them to clump together into bigger, heavier masses that are suddenly super easy to filter out. It's pretty brilliant, actually. But to really get a grip on filtration, we have to recognize a fundamental truth. Not all water is created equal. It doesn't all start with the same level of junk in it. And this really breaks it down perfectly. We basically deal with 3 main categories of wastewater. Each one, from the relatively clean stuff to the really contaminated stuff, needs a completely different game plan. So first, you've got white water. That's your clean tap water or rainwater. Then there's gray water, which comes from your showers and sinks. It's easier to treat and can even be recycled. And finally, you have black water from toilets. That's the heavily contaminated stuff, and it needs the most intensive, multi-stage treatment to make it safe. So you see, the right method really depends on where the water came from. Okay, we have covered a lot of ground, from your kitchen sink all the way to massive industrial plants. So what's the big takeaway from all this? I think the most crucial point here is that there's no single magic bullet. Our best path forward is a combination of everything. Informed personal actions, like choosing the right filter or even the right t-shirt, and supporting the large-scale innovation that's pushing the boundaries of what's even possible in purification. And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. We have the knowledge, and the tools are getting better every single day. The real question is, What choices are we going to make, both as individuals and as a society, to use them and shape the future of our air and water?